Yeah.
Please give a big round of applause.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stage. Your
Yeah. Also, I had colleagues that was like half almond milk, half lactose milk. What the fuck?
Make up your mind.
Alright. It's was a white guy, not me. Welcome back. Oh, she has a jug. Yeah, you. I was gonna ask if everyone has got their drinks. Everyone has their drinks. Welcome back. You get another half. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Awesome. It's so nice for a Sunday. I'm gonna share something with the audience that so normally in the second half, the host that's me, by the way. I try to get to know you guys, but I'm gonna start with something different because we have less comedians than we normally do. So I am the captain now. I can do whatever. I have the microphone. I could say whatever. I won't. I will. I thought I'd share some thoughts that I have that I haven't turned them into jokes yet. This is as raw as potentially getting an STD. So I'm just gonna share some ideas that come to my mind at 4 a.m. when walking home and trying not to scare a girl in front of you. So I was thinking, in about 30 to 50 years, will we have some trans people who have dementia who wake up one day and be like, "Where's my dick?" I'm just wondering. Like, really think about it. That's a potential future for someone today, right? It's just like, no, wait, honey, where's my dick? Can you imagine? I'm talking to the dudes. Can you imagine one day? Hey, look at me. Can you imagine one day? You're like 67, and you know you've not been eating right, so you have dementia now. And then you look down, and there's a gorgeous vagina, but there's missing a powerful dick, and you're just like, what the fuck? And your husband, because it's a husband, is like, honey, what's wrong? Everything. I don't know, just some incomplete thoughts I have. Another thought I have, the Pope was chosen in 2 days. All right? So for anyone going through 7 rounds of interviews for that job, fuck that job. They can pick the Pope in 2 days. They can do better. What's another one? Yeah, Americans. Are there any Americans here? Oh, was that a woo? Was that no? Like why are they so against the metric system? I mean, they've been using 9mm in classrooms for years. The worst part is I'm not ashamed of that. Two things that never get old: dark humor and unvaccinated children. It was a 2-hit combo. What else did I have left? South Africa. I think South Africa, just for the record, I have a South African friend there. If you will embarrass her by looking in her direction for 2 seconds. Anyway, South Africa, I think South Africa is doing some strategic brand alignment and some really tactical movements. So South Africa started by shipping off Ilona Maski. I call him Ilona because it's feminine and I think he would not like that. To America, right? Which was a win for them because if you don't have Elon, then you're winning. And then South Africa reported Israel to, for war crimes, which is a win. You're not clapping, that means you support Israel. So you don't have to. And then South Africa kicked out, and this is a bad way to put it, again, incomplete thoughts. The white ones that were not nice, they're now refugees in America. Have you read the news? They're letting in, did you know? They're letting in white South Africans into the US. They are. Ilona got that shit done. I don't know, South Africa looks like it's cleaning up South Africa. That's just my incomplete thought. But let's move on to more important things. There's been a discussion on the interwebs about a gorilla and audacious white men. And I call them audacious and white culturally. And I will explain. Has anyone heard the conversation on the TikToks? I saw it on Instagram. I watch TikToks on Instagram because I'm a fucking adult. So, for those who don't know, the debate has been, can 100 men successfully subdue a full-grown adult gorilla? I mean, come on. And I've seen the conversation, everyone's like, yeah, if we send the first wave, if we, and all this debate, and I'm like, what do you mean send who's going on the first wave? Because their limbs are gonna be used to beat the second wave. Right? Like, what's gonna happen? You're gonna be number 80 and be like, all right, the 79 others tired him out. I can go in now. And do what? Show me the weakness in the gorilla. With our hands, no tools, just what the neck. And this brings me now to the important part. All these people that are talking about, we can do this if we really work together. None of them have met a gorilla. I say that as an African. I have met a gorilla. The answer is no. You fucking can't. You can't on Monday, you can't on Tuesday, you can't on any day. Okay? That gorilla will wipe you the fuck out. Okay? And it's the same thing. Like these white guys, and it's like, you guys came on the boats. We've lived with them. We're there. We're from Africa. The source code. We know. Fuck no. Ask yourself this. If you don't believe me, ask yourself this. You've all watched National Geographic? Woo. Discovery Channel? You've seen the shows in Africa? Hands up if you've ever seen an African presenter. It's okay, I'll wait. We don't. We're in the car. You show up, we're like, so the lions are over there. Oh, no, I'm fine here. My camera can zoom. No, go ahead, Richard. We don't show. We don't. No. We know. We don't fuck with this shit. We don't. At some point, it's like a Darwinism thing. Like you're trying to get yourself skilled. It's just national selection. I think that should be Squid Game season 3. White guys versus a gorilla. All right, I'm gonna try and get to know some of you. It's gonna be awkward. Prepare yourselves. Hi, sir. I'm Jude. What's your name?
I'm Gonzalo.
Your what? Gonzalo. Sorry, where are you from?
Portugal.
I told you the Danish just sneaks up on you. Wait, you're from Portugal? You guys make corks. Not cocks, corks. Wine corks, you dirty humans. And what?
Court soakers.
Cock soakers. Not helping. Not helping, but. So soakers reminds me of something Mormon. There's a thing more. You know what? We don't have to do it. What brought you to Denmark?
I came for work.
You came for work, of course. Yeah. What do you do?
I work for Uber.
You work for Uber. Cool. She's a real one. And you, sir? Hi, I'm Jude.
Hi, Matthias,
Matthias, where are you from?
Argentina.
Argentina. What brings you to Denmark? Why are you here? Where are your papers? I'm sorry. I'm the last person who should. I'm not Danish immigrant. I can't be. They won't let me. No, it's a. Wait. Yeah.
I wanted to know Scandinavia.
You wanted to know Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Interesting. Argentina has a history. You know what? We're not gonna. Welcome to Scandinavia. Argentinians are welcome to. They've always been welcome. And
German history.
those are your words. He said German history, and those are his words, and they are correct. do you ever go into like your grandpa's attic and find books you shouldn't find? No. Oh, good.
My grandpa was Italian, but my friends. maybe-
Italian doesn't. I mean, they were cousins. On the other side of, you sound like you know the history. What about the couple? Are you guys a couple? Sorry? Dating. So I want everyone to know. When I asked if they're a couple, he was like dating, and she was like. And what are your names?
My name is Nick.
Nick. Matilda. Nick, where are you from?
Denmark.
You're from Denmark. Matilda? What? Same place in Denmark? Or where?
Here.
You're both from Aarhus. I've never met people from actually in Aarhus. Everyone just moves here. Aarhus natives are like extinct. And then you found each other. This is like a Noah's Ark moment. You guys have to reproduce for your city. You're gonna lose out to us foreigners. No pressure, dude. No pressure. Welcome. And what do you do for a living, Nick? You're a soldier. And
I work with kids.
you work with children.
Yes.
Ah, okay. That sounds like a movie I'd watch. The soldier and the teacher. We watched that movie, right? You sound lovely. You guys look at like I'd swipe right on Nick, on both of you. Sorry. It's a pleasure. And you, sir? Sorry? China. I asked for your name, but you just China. Is the government? You're in Denmark. You can express yourself. What is your name? Your name, not the government's. Marcus from China. All right. And what you bring? Not what you bring here. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not challenging. You can be here. What brings you to Denmark?
I'm half Danish.
You're half Danish. Wow, double agent. The Chinese are winning. I mean, look at him. He's gorgeous as fuck. Now, thank you for playing. Let's look at the back a bit. Oh no. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Sandra.
Sandra. Where are you from, Sandra?
I'm from Sjælland. I'm from Denmark. I'm not. Yeah.
I've had first dates like this. Like you match and then you have a call and they're like, oh no, I don't know what to tell, how much to tell you because I don't trust you. Sandra, I'm one of the good ones.
I'm big.
So you're saying you're from where?
I'm not here from Aarhus, but I moved to Aarhus, but I'm from Denmark.
So Sandra is not proud of where she's from. And that's okay. We listen and we judge. I am so fucking judge. No, we don't judge. Thank you for playing Sandra. Alright. I think we're ready for the first comment. So he's an interesting one because he's half American.
No.
Sorry, he told me to tell you he's half Canadian.
Yeah.
He's not from the empire in the west. But the other half is Danish, so do with that what you will. Welcome, Christopher.
Yeah, so I'm here all the way from Canada. Is what we're going with. I mean, my country's burning itself down. It's very funny. There really are lots of people, pretty people here, just like Jude said. You know, yeah, it's true. I think I'm looking at the same people that he was, and you're all very attractive. No, I'm trying to make y'all think that I'm cool. I work with teenagers. I'm a teacher, and I know that when I walk into the room and they see me, they're like, "This guy's a fucking square." So I've got to work a little bit to let them know that I'm cool and they can trust me. And I know that I'm not going to do it through my fashion. So pretty much always within the first few weeks of having a new group of students, I'll tell them the story of the first time I got high. Because then they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's a badass. Especially because they're Danes, and Danes think that marijuana is like a very scary, dangerous drug. You know, that if you smoke it once, you're going to have a psychotic break and you're going to be broken forever. That's why it's been illegal for so long, because it's dangerous. I'm a badass. Like, you know, I met my wife, who's totally Danish, after I got here, and she started taking CBD oil drops every now and then to help her fall asleep. So we live on the wrong side of the tracks now. She smuggled them all the way from the Netherlands on a bus with her choir. No, but when I want to let the students know that I'm cool, I do find an opportunity to tell them the story of the first time I got high. And where I grew up, which is Canada, it was actually easier for high school students to get marijuana than it was for them to get alcohol, because that's the way the laws worked in the area. But I didn't take any weed because I was afraid. I was like, this stuff is dangerous, messes with your brain. I don't know, I'm going to have a psychotic break and then I'll never be allowed in Denmark again. So I was scared of it. But my brother's 18th birthday party was coming up and he smoked a lot of weed. He also got straight A's, so my parents never suggested. I didn't care much about grades, so I was often interrogated. In any case, I was like, I don't want to go to my brother's 18th birthday party because I know there's going to be weed there and that stuff's scary. But everybody told me I had to go. Eventually my mom says, you gotta go to your brother's 18th birthday party. So I said, okay. And after school one day in the middle of May, I walked over to my brother's friend's house where he and his buddies were gathered and chatted a little bit, and then he and all of his friends walked into the backyard to sit and pass a joint around and get stoned because they were cool. And I was scared, so I stayed inside and just waited for them to come back. And I was a teenage boy, and it was after school, so I was a little hungry, and there was a freshly baked loaf of banana bread right there in the kitchen. Cut myself a big old slice of banana bread. It was delicious. There's a little flavor in there that I wasn't familiar with. So when my brother and his friends came back into the house, they're like, "Dude, did you eat that?" And I was like, "Yeah." They said, "You're gonna get high." I was worried, but they had all just smoked, so they already were stoned, and I had a good hour of like making fun of them for being stupid and laughing at things that didn't make sense, while we chatted and we walked over to play Ultimate Frisbee because we were cool. And I want you to remember that important detail here. And they were all laughing about stupid stuff, and we were throwing the Frisbee around, and about an hour had gone since I ate a much too large portion of banana bread, and somebody threw the disc, and I watched it flying through the air for a long time. And I thought about how it was beautiful. It's spinning and keep something flying through the air. And one of the other guys looked at me and he was like, "Dude." And I was like, "Dude?" He's like, "Dude." I was like, "Dude." He said, "Dude, I think you're high." And I was like, "I think you're right." And then it started raining and we were dancing in the mud and twirling in mud puddles and having a wonderful time. And the only food that we had brought with us to the Frisbee field was the banana bread. So we all needed to eat another portion, and we were all muddy, so the one person whose fingers were clean hand-fed it to us, because we're badasses and druggies, right, doing dangerous stuff. And then it was time for us to journey to the place you go when you're stoned and a teenager in Bethesda, Maryland, which is a Chipotle. Now, those of you who haven't been to the States, or haven't been so fortunate, Mexicans are our Middle Easterns. So instead of a falafel, you get a burrito. That's just the way it works. Or, sorry, instead of a shawarma. I know. That's what I should have said. Anyway, it's the same thing. You go into the place, you tell them that you're going to want to roll, and then you're like, "Yes, I want this ingredient and this ingredient and this ingredient." Except, of course, what you end up with is about 3 times as big as a shawarma roll because you're in America, and that's how you eat. So we journeyed to Chipotle, and it was a long walk, because when you're stoned, any walk is a long walk. Time moves differently, and it was particularly long for me because I was trying to explain something to a friend that I was really concerned about. See, I was trying to explain this problem where I was like, "Joey, I can't tell if I just told you that I can't tell, or if I just imagined telling you that I can't tell." And he was like, "Dude." And I was like, "Dude." And he was like, "Dude." And I was like, "Dude." Because every time I tried to talk about this serious problem of not knowing whether what I was remembering was imagined, my cheeks got all warm and I just started laughing and I couldn't communicate effectively. It was terrible. And finally I got to the Chipotle. And we all have these moments when we look back on a night where we were a little bit not sober. Moments of clarity through the haze of the alcohol or the weed or whatever else. My moment of clarity was this. I walked up to my big brother who'd already gotten there and I said, "Brother." And he said, "Brother." And I said, "Brother." He said, "Brother?" I said, "Brother, I don't know if I can do this." And he looked at me straight in the eyes and he straightened his back. He said, "Brother, you can do this. You can order your burrito." And from that moment, I was in a sudden bout of clarity. All of the drug haze pushed away, and I walked to the back of the line, and I stepped up, and she said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want a burrito. Black beans, fajitas, the whole shebang." And I was doing great. We got through that first section. She was just about to ask me about the salad portion. I made it through the whole, yes, I want both the hot and the mild sauce. I like the texture of the tomatoes. When Joey came up from behind me and he said, "Dude," and I said, "Dude?" He said, "Dude, are you doing it? Are you ordering the burrito?" And I said, "Dude, I am ordering the fuck out of this burrito." And I looked back and my cheeks got very, very warm and I just started laughing and I laughed for a long time. Time is weird when you're stoned. I don't know how long I laughed. It was long enough, though, that I started to feel like it was awkward and I needed to apologize. I said, I'm sorry that I'm doing this here, I'm sorry I'm like this, and I can't get the order out, I'm sorry, it's my first time, and I'm sorry I'm doing it here, and the lady behind the counter was like, just order your burrito, and the random man behind me in line says, order your fucking burrito, kid, and I guess I made it through. I had a burrito, it was delicious, but while we were sitting in this booth, one member of our party vomited. Now, it might be that he tried to eat 3 of these ridiculously huge, oversized burritos, but we all came to the natural assumption that it was because there was something bad in those drugs that we did. So we were very scared. And as soon as you start getting scared and you're already a little stoned, you get very scared. So we decided we needed to do something to lie low, we needed to hide out, and we walked through town, and it was a long walk, and we sat in a movie theater to see a movie that had been out for a while, and I don't remember one moment of that movie. The next day, I was still feeling a little weird. It was a school day for me. I was laughing at jokes that didn't make sense. I had to sit and do an English test on one of Shakespeare's plays, and I was writing this English test. When I got it back a few weeks later, it was okay. I got a C. It wasn't that bad. But there was this weird moment in the middle of the essay that I had written where I wrote one of those like, and this demonstrates that Montague was... And then I wrote the exact same sentence again, and this demonstrates that Montague was, and a third time, and my teacher had just written in a little note beside the essay, dude, are you high? And I was, yeah. And then weed became legal in most states, so like, I still do weed sometimes because, like I said, I'm a badass. Like, probably twice a year, okay? I'm a druggie. All the fun of buying weed disappeared after a couple of years because it became legal, and you just went into a store and a hipster, like the sort who serves you coffee, talks about the strains. So I'm glad I'm back in Denmark, where you buy weed the right way. You write to some number of somebody you don't actually know, and you meet in Mølleparken, and you try not to look at each other while you slide some money one way and slide a bag of weed the other way. Feels like going back to my roots. Thanks, that's my time.